Well, hello everybody. So I bought a few of these and I've done some videos on them, and one of my most favorited videos was 30-second how to raise and level a shipping container that's on the ground. Lots of questions. People asked me a lot of questions that the quick video didn't cover. So let me go ahead and spend a little bit of time talking through how to get a container from the ground. It was rolled off yesterday, how to get it on the ground up, and I'm going to put mine about 2 feet up, and we'll work on level. I'm just going to use an old-fashioned level on that. Let's take a look at the tools and supplies. Alrighty, y'all, let's talk about the tools and supplies you'll need if you're going to self-level a shipping container. First off, you'll notice there's just one man, right? There's no crane, no heavy equipment, there's not a team. This is low cost and it'll get it done. So beside me is a 8-ton floor jack. So these things are 8,000 pounds, right? Which is 4 tons. So I went double the capacity on the floor jack. It's a Harbor Freight. I'm putting my life in a Harbor Freight. So I'll say this right now. This is not for the faint of heart. If you're the kind of guy that sticks your fingers underneath dangerous places, I would not recommend it for you. I would tell you to go hire a professional. I'm not the, look, I got them all still. I'm not the kind of guy generally who sticks his fingers in little crushy spots, right? I keep my head on a swivel. But, all right, so I've got twice the capacity I need on a floor jack. And really, I'm only going to be raising one side at a time. So it's not 8,000 pounds I'm picking up. It's whatever that fulcrum point would be of that. I'm going to guess half again as much, 4,000 pounds. Nevertheless, I have twice to 3 times the capacity I need on a floor jack. I'm not going to raise it all the way up in the air 2 feet, and I'm going to go up 4 inches at a time or 8 inches at a time, whatever I'm comfortable with. So that's job one. Secondly, I'm going to get out my laser levels. This is not a final level for this thing. I'm just going to use a hand level. So once I get it to the height that I want, I'll put this level all the way around and look at the bubble super careful, like dead in the middle to get it level. I have a rake and 2 shovels, and then I have 25 of these cinder blocks. These are solid. They're 16 inch and they're 4 by 4 by 4. So why did I pick that? Well, because I know my soil type. I looked it up online, sandy loam with clay underneath it. I know that that is more than enough for me to go ahead and safely put up a shipping container. Now, you'll have to check your own soils. I'm not telling you that this will work for you, right? I'm telling you to check your soils, even maybe have somebody inspect your soils. Now, I didn't. I've been building out here for a while. I know what my soil is. But I'll get it level, put that on. The rain is coming, so it'll fact check me real quick by tomorrow if it washes out. Or if I hit one of these gopher holes, let's say some guy has a tunnel underneath right where I picked, well, I'm going to regret that decision because it'll list, into the gopher hole. Once I get a compression load on there, he'll stay away from it. But for now, I dropped this off yesterday in his world. Looky here, his world, right? There isn't nothing, silence around. All right, so without further ado, let me start on the front. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that jack underneath there, and I'm going to raise it up. Now, I might have to dig it first to get it a little ways up. You'll notice that I had them drop it off just on some logs that I dropped down. A lot of folks go and get, and I don't disagree, railroad ties, but they've got to be 10-footers, right? So you have a little room to scooch it under. I didn't. I just used some cedar that I logged down. All I needed to do is keep it out of the mud. So it's got this much room for me to put a jack in it. All right, so with all those warnings, you saw my tools, cost of tools. Those blocks, I bought them brand new. I'm going to keep them and use them. They weren't cheap. 25 blocks were, and that'll get me about 2 foot off the ground. That was $189 for the block. So besides the cost of the shipping container home, and the blocks, I'm so far into this thing for about $3,100 more or less. They gave me a discount. They said $33. They rolled it off, dropped it on the ground for $3,090. I bought the blocks yesterday for $189. So there's your cost. All right, let me go ahead and show you how I'm going to do this. So on to leveling, I want to let you know my videos are not how-to videos. They're my personal journal of how I'm building off-grid. So if you get information from me, it's incidental information of somebody who's doing a thing, and not somebody who's telling you as a professional how to do it. So every now and I get that somebody who says, hey, hurry it along. Listen, my journey, this is me building real time, not some YouTube channel that's trying to get hits, right? I'm just documenting my own labor, so in a year I can find out what I've done and what my next goals are. But I've almost got 1 million views, 958,000 views. Once I have 1 million views, I'll go ahead and celebrate that. So I'm popular, and people are getting information, but you got to be patient with me, right? You might need to skip, if you're after data, you might need to skip forward to this or that. But if you just want to ride along with a good guy that's willing to share some information while he does work, then I'm the man for you. So, all right, back to this. All right, my truck, you notice the blocks are in there. I am not going to lug them around. I am going to drive them around. It's a four-wheeler, right? I've got my 4x4 on. I also need to let y'all know, I am in Texas in the middle of a drought. I don't think I could build just flat out in the woods in a rainy environment. If I get enough moisture here, like a 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch, and I break through the soil here, this would not have worked. So you do you. If your road is passable, that's fine. But don't assume that the truck driver can run your Connex down some muddy trail and drop it off. He can't. This is 8,000 pounds, right? So, but he did for me. It's out in the middle of the woods. This is where I want my sawmill, so it's a little quieter and there's not dust near the house. In addition, I'll shift everything so that my homestead looks neat. It's right now all cluttered up with building supplies. I'm going to move all my building supplies inside here, a little ways from the homestead. All right, let's talk about first getting this off the ground. If you notice right here, there's piers, right? The pylons. These support the entire shipping container weight. So I don't have to put a bunch of piers up and down there like a normal architect would tell you to do to be safe for a house. This isn't a stick-built house. These containers are built so that they can be supported entirely by 4 posts, right? So now if I try to jack that up, you can see where somebody did, right? They tried to jack it up all by itself. Apologies for the wind noise. They tried to jack it up all by itself just on that I-beam right there. Well, if you go up and down and you try to just jack it up by this, it's thin. This is what you need to work on. The other thick spot is the doors, right? That's thick. All right, where the doors are, and in the back, where the back is, I'm going to put my floor jack right in the middle, and I'm going to jack it up, and both sides will come up at the same time. I get it high enough for me, not super high, but high enough for me to get a shovel under and start leveling it, I will. In fact, I might just dig that out right there. Now, I'm not worried about the grass and everything underneath there. It'll die. In addition, it'll be 2 foot off the ground for me, which will give me some amount of flood protection, some amount of insect protection, some amount of my mouse protection. If I leave the door open for 2 days, the animals move in. The pack rats move in, the raccoons move in, the possums move in. I have had where I left the doors open, and the cattle and horses moved in and just crapped all over inside of one of these things. Do not leave your doors open off grid is what I'm saying. All right, here's my process. That jack will need to be able to clear here underneath, and I'll need to put blocks underneath both sides. So the first thing I need to do is make a little room for the jack if it doesn't clear. If I jack it up straight on the ground, it'll be okay. I'll be able to get it up. I'm not too worried about that. So I might do that just to get it up off the ground. And your soil may not be able to handle that kind of a load. You'll notice that I'm real rough on equipment. So I don't care about a Harbor Freight floor jack, right? It's pretty cheap. I have had this thing way in the mud, lifting tractors and things out of the mud. So I'm going to put it right on the ground, but I won't leave it there. I'm going to make a little room on there. I'm going to jack up, and then I'm going to make a little room under both things, put a couple of blocks, get it off, and then I'll put a board under there. I'll go back and forth as I think it can hold it. I won't go up all 2 foot, but I'll go up a little bit. All right. So I'm right in the middle of that I-beam, and it's a box beam that's been welded. So you see already I'm getting it up off the ground, but the jack is also going into the ground. I'm going to do two things. I'm going to get rid of the grass underneath here. I'm not going to reach with my hands. I don't want to get my fingers cut off. I'm going to rake it out and start leveling this one already. Now you got to admit that this is a lot easier than a real foundation, right? That would take you a little while. So I'm just eyeballing this. Just gonna eyeball it for those 16-inch blocks. That's all I'm gonna do. And once I put a block down on there, I'll go ahead and run my level over it and see if I like it. For now. Now I'm trying to get right in the middle of that block, right in the middle of the block. And then I want my foundation to be level at least when I start. We'll find out what it's like in the near future. All right, looking at the level, I need a 1/2 inch off the front, 1/2 inch off the side, and that ought to do it. Take your time on the first ones because it'll be fast on all the subsequent ones. All right, I've got it this way perfect. I need to build that side up a little bit. I shoveled some out. Just gonna get myself some sand from one of these gopher holes. Okay, I'm happy with the level there. I'm gonna stick another one underneath here. Now I was sticking my hands under there, but notice I have a log that would catch it. So, and I've already dropped it, and I've got the jack, so I had some safety there. But I sure wasn't lingering, right? And I tried not to put my hand under the pillar. Don't use any of these blocks if they're cracked. Just set them aside. You don't want them, right? This is a temporary foundation, not appropriate for living. This just gets it up off the ground, protect it from flooding. Another advantage of getting it up off the ground, it doesn't rot underneath. It doesn't rust. There's not a lot of moisture. So I find 2 foot down here is perfect. The last thing is I can slide a tote underneath, right? And I can use the outside too with totes. So that's why I'm going up 2 feet. All right, I'm real happy here. I've got one in. Notice the other side is at a different level. I am parked on a swale, so this is on a slight swale. I don't care about that. I'm going to go ahead and just roll with it, just like that. Now that I have a little security there, I'm going to take it up a little higher. And after this, I'll put the board under it. But I'm more worried about that side because it's definitely not level, the shipping container itself. So I might put 2 blocks under it and then get it level. Eventually the last layer will be a board, right? All right, that's saying pretty close. Just as is. All right, so I've got both starter blocks as close to the level as I possibly can. Now, if I jack it up and I end up with a gopher or something like that in there, obviously I'm going to come in, I'm going to brace it with a couple of more, 4x4 piers and things like that stacked up, or some more blocks. But right now I'm happy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to jack it up a little more, get 2 blocks under both sides, set it down and then I'll go to the other side. Then I'll put a level across it and see how I feel, because it is on a slight hill. But this is, even though it's a lot of hard work for me right now, this is a lot faster than digging piers and beams and all that. These don't need them. Remember, all the structural support is in these right here. This is how they stack them, 8 high. Right? 8 high on ships. So if they can handle the wobble of a ship, right, stacked up, they're fine on the ground with just the front and back. Now, if you don't want your house to have any vibration at all, you'll put a couple of courtesy piers in there to deaden it, but they're not necessary structurally. All right, I'm going to go up a little more. My jack is down at halfway into the hub, right? All I'm doing here is trying to get that up high enough that I could put a block under it. And then I'll give it a rest and I'll measure everything with you. All right, that looks like it'll fit a block. I level the blocks up to each other, square them. Level. Now I'm going to slowly let this down, which is just a little twist, not a big twist. If I go too far, you guys will see it go plunk. And I don't want that. I want it to start leveling. Loading the blocks the same. All right. Well, I can see right there. I can see right there that I'm going to need to go to the back if I want to start making these things level, right? See how that's up? So that's high enough now. I can get a board and my jack under this side. What I'm going to do is load everything up in my truck. I'm going to go to the back, do the same thing, get it up off of these cedar logs that I had put there. Alrighty, so the front, while narrating, took me about a half hour, 30 minutes. I know in the video I'll edit it out a little shorter than that, but a half hour for the front. That's the first block. Once I get that in, I can keep going up, you know, to 2 feet, where I feel safe and also where I want these. My purpose is I like to back a tailgate right up to this thing and unload straight in, or my fork truck straight in. So I'm not planning to park vehicles in here. If I was going to use it for lawnmower and things that have to be on the ground, right? But the benefits I've told you many, you know, no less bugs, less vermin, less rot and rust. So you saw that going with this center part. Here I could pick up both legs at one time. Now this shipping container is on the ground twisted and low, so I need to get it up to a place where everything's touching. If it's twisted and low, your doors won't open. So you got to level them enough that your doors open, right? And also you don't want, you know, weird feel inside an amateur. You want it level. So if I need to put an extra block or wood or something in here and raise it, I will. And but right now I'm going to go ahead. There's enough room on this side, the way the ground is. I'll just put a board on the ground, my floor jack on it. I'll jack it up, not just 2 blocks, but 4 blocks, which will give me a full foot on this side. And also I could start looking at leveling it, right? Like if I need a half a brick or something, I'll go and buy one. I don't have one, but I'll go buy one. Or I'll use a board. All right, let me do that. All right, my apologies, y'all. It's record high in November in Texas again, and the humidity is right through the roof. There's a big thing, so I'm hot. I'm overheated. So forgive the sweat through and all that good stuff, and the breathing hard. It is hard to breathe. We haven't had rain again for another 30 days. The cedar that you see around me is a toxin. The dust is hard, so it gets in your lungs. So, all right, my next step is I can see where the middle is because there's a seam here on the metal. So this is the middle point right here. I could tell that that's a box just like the other end. So I'm going to put my jack here and I'm going to jack up right on the middle and raise the ends here 4 blocks high. And at some point it'll start leveling, right? The twist will come out of it and I could start getting a level on it. All right. So I'm just going to get this up where I know it's loaded, and then I'm going to walk around to the front and double check that one leg and see if it's set down yet. By using this triangulation, right, where two feet are on the ground and 1 point in the middle, it auto levels, right? This becomes a fulcrum, and as I jack it up, it'll start to auto level. Then I'll know where to put blocks so it won't be all twisted. Now, I'm not worried yet, but at a certain point, I want to dial it in, at least roughly. Oh, that looks level already. That's good. Real good. Needs a little bit on that end. Needs a little bit on this end. All right, that one's set level. I'm going to go ahead and put one over there. By the way, as I'm kicking these, keep in mind, these are steel-toed. If you try that with tennis shoes, you're going to be in big trouble. I'm not real religious about getting it right dead in the middle, like I didn't make a dot or anything like that. I'm more interested in trying to keep it level. Ultimately, it'll settle over the next week or two. And I'll come back in here and make some decisions on leveling if I need to. Especially if I am on a gopher hole. Now, I don't get rid of gophers on this ranch. They're my friends. They get the water into the ground when it does rain instead of having a runoff. Man, this is my best one yet. All right, that one's perfect. So out of all the ones, this one's the one that's absolutely perfect bubble. It's already started to rain. You can't see it, but it's falling on my truck. I'm gonna go up. I'm gonna put a block under it, and then we'll go from there. Or maybe I won't put a block under it. Get all of these perfectly square, you might as well. It'll look better that way. All right, so now y'all can see if the jack fails, the seals blow out, all the thing. It's only got a little teeny tiny, ½ inch to drop. So even though I'm going up 2 foot, I'm not going up 2 foot all at once with all the risk, going up a little at a time. So close. In the video, did you notice the jack started to pull out, right? So I'm up as high as I can go with that leverage versus moving on the board versus what this is doing. So I'm going to let it down, let it all relax, go get a drink of water, and reset the jack. I might even put a block under it to get it a little higher so it's not at such a strong acute angle, right? Something a little more obtuse. That's what I'm after. Anyway, did jump out of there a little bit, but there's only a 1/4 inch on that side, 1/2 inch on that side. So this side here will need leveling. All right, I'm back from a short rest. Feel much better. Man, I had a coughing fit I tell you, this dust and cedar is the real deal. I say I don't even have allergies, but I've heard that if the longer you stay in Texas, the cedar piles up on you eventually and you end up with it no matter what. I believe them. So I changed the point of view. You're now looking at a different angle, but you're still on the back end of the shipping container. What I'm going to do is pull that jack off, put 2 blocks down, put it back up so it'll be 4 inches higher, and then I'll raise it up, and I'm hoping to get, I've got 3 blocks under there. I want to get 5 total and then move to the front. You can't see it, but it is lightly raining, and it hasn't rained for months and months. So if my truck breaks through the ground here, this unproven ground, I'll have to get my tractor and pull it out, and I don't want any of that. So I'm going to be in a little bit of a hurry, but a 4-wheel drive off grid, right? You're not gonna. I had a Camaro when I first started this big build project, and a real nice LS, like 700 horsepower. Could not build with it, right? So anyway, you're going to need a 4x4 too. All right. And let me go ahead, pull that jack out. Just do what I said. Get this up. Get these last 2 blocks in there. If the rain starts getting super heavy, it'll be more important to move my truck off this pasture land than anything else. So I'll do that, and we'll call it done. But ultimately, I'd like to go ahead when I jack it up is to get a rough level. And again, I'm just using a bubble level, a 4-foot bubble level. So I'd get a rough level. I'd let it settle for a couple of weeks or whatever. I'm in no hurry, right? But let it settle, and then go ahead and get my Bosch laser level on it some evening when I could see the line, and just boom, make it perfect. I did the same thing on my build site. I let it cure for almost a year, and then I'm re-leveling now, and I'm pouring concrete footings instead of these so that I can attach it to the concrete footings so that it will be tornado resistant, right? These are already hurricane resistant. They're built big enough and square enough that there's nothing to, for hurricanes to pick them up. So starting with a shipping container, that's good. I like building with them. Everything's square. Listen, and one day, he dropped it off yesterday. I could have been using it on the ground. And if I had prepped the ground and had a thing, I could have been using it. But I'm going to get this up off the ground. I could start moving into it this evening, right? So drop off the next day, it's there. Now that's just for storage. A house will take you more. But all the edges are square. Look how easy it is to build a genuine level 40-foot by 8 run, right? I've got 4 points that I have to level, and then I can build around it. I could go on and on. I really like shipping containers. I know it was trendy and people forgot about it, but don't if you want to save money. You could build a high-end house using shipping containers that's got a lot of value, including, fire resistant and hurricane proof and, et cetera, et cetera. All right, without further ado, let me go ahead and start the raising thing here. So see if I can beat this rain. I could even go up higher, but I think I'll be able to get the last 2 bricks in like this. We'll find out. Again, I'm trying to beat the rain. How's that new angle over there? Again, my steel-toed shoes for the scooching, right? Don't break a toe yourself using regular shoes for that. Gonna check, make sure it's on there. All right, because I'm going up. I just want to get this done. Now the jack rolls a little bit on the wood, so it might clunk here. So as I get up high enough, might reset. Looks like I'm going to need to put that extra block underneath there, as I suspected. As you can see, the higher I go, the more risk is involved, the scarier it gets. Try to respect that. If your instincts tell you that it's risky, respect those instincts. Don't try to be macho or brave or stupid. 4 inches at a time, and then in goes both blocks. I would not try to do 8 inches all at once. Be a disaster. Well, risky, too risky, unnecessarily risky. I'm going to restage the board and add an extra block on the front. All right. Now I think I'll get it. Oh, is that it? We'll find out. So close. So close. I don't know if it's got that little bit more. Maybe. A little more. All right. I know where level is because, again, it's on the 3 points there. And see if I have a 1/4 inch of something steel, then I could make it level now. So I'm going to take a minute and I'm going to look for something to put underneath there. All right, that was as high as that jack will go. And I found some softwood shutters, but they've been stained. I think they might be shingles. It's possible they won't rot. Ideally, the right way to do that is to have a piece of plate steel of core 10 that'll fit. When I build my homes, it won't be shimmed up with scrap material, right? It'll be shimmed up with plate steel. But anyway, let me lower it down. You guys watch it and tell me if it's gonna fall over or shoot them boards out at high speed. All right, we're down. All righty, y'all. There we are. See, we're down on the back. I got all 5. I leveled it at the same time. I bet you anything if I put a bubble level on that, it won't be too bad. I might just do that just to brag. We'll find out. But now I'm ready, before the rain makes the soil too bad, to go around to the front and do the front. I've got 2 blocks on each side, so I'm going to need to add 3. But now I can get in there and jack that up with a board under it so that it won't sink into the ground. I'm wrapping up here. All I got to do is the front, so I moved around to the front. I should mention, though, that I'm a hoss. I'm a big, strong guy who's worked outside for a long, long time. And this is it's at the peak of my endurance for me to self-level this all the way. You know, the blocks start out at 40 pounds. There's 25 of them, so that's 2,000 pounds, a ton of those blocks I'm moving. Plus jacking that up. The jack that the floor jack, those are not light, everybody. I bet you they're 80 pounds. So very physical. So I'm wearing a back brace. Got a gut anyway, but it's pretty muscular gut, I'll tell you that. But if I look extra fat in the videos, it's because I'm wearing a back brace to try to protect my back. Again, solo building, this is tough. So it's not for novice, nor for somebody who hasn't had some physical building on it. So as a solo builder, keep your head on a swivel. Notice I could have kept going and got all 8 inches and just did it, but I go up, put those blocks in, so that if it does let loose, it's only letting loose a little bit. I wouldn't even normally be narrating here with one dangling, but I wanted to show the drama of it, right? If it dropped right now, boom, it twists, you know? So go up 4 inches, put it in there. The seals can blow out on floor jacks, sink in the mud, who knows? But anyway, let me get that other block on there. Then I'll jack it up the last little bit and put a level back on it. You can't afford to be hurt when you build off grid way out yonder. And I only go up as much as I need. I don't go up even an inch more. I mean, I'm going right to that 1/8, 16th where the block just slides in. Not going way up. All right, I'm happy with that. I'm gonna keep going. I don't think I need to restage the jack. I'll go up and get the last ones in, then I'll put a line on it. So you could see in your view, I got a little bit there. We'll find out together. Did you hear that? You hear that shift on the jack? What I was telling you? All right, well, I'm gonna stop now and stick the thing in there. I think it's at the right height, but if I get one in, I'll go up just enough to get the other one in. But as the jack goes up, it changes the fulcrum of it. A squared plus B squared is C squared, but that jack is solid, so C squared doesn't get to change. What changes is A squared and B squared. So the bottom of the jack rolls, right? Keep that Pythagorean theorem. Your junior high math teacher had something to say. That geometry's geometry. Now, since I got one under, well, let me stick another one in there. It might just slide in. All right, it might just slide in. And then I'll be done. I don't think it's got clearance, so nope. All right, up I go, even though it went clunk. But I'm watching. All I want is that 1/8 inch. There's another clunk. All right. All righty. Now I'm going to put it down and test level since those both look like they're the same height. All right. I'm going to test. Open the doors, and I'm going to test in there with the bubble level. And I'm going to go up inside the building, backwards to forwards, test and level. Just out of curiosity, I'll keep going around the back. I'll test level there. What I want is that bubble level, right? When I'm saying, you know, true, I need that bubble level right in the middle, not like, you know, that or that. I need it right in the middle. I can't do that with, oh, I almost got it, bare hand. Right like that. If it's level and it's not twisted, they'll just open. That one opened real easy. Let me try this one now. But if you drop it crooked, these doors will never be the same again. Looky there. All right. Gonna check the floor. Oh, yeah, you guys got to celebrate this with me. Hold on, let me get the camera off of here. All right, there we go. Let's look. Oh, that is darn good eyeballing work. I mean, really good eyeballing work. All right, so it's level this direction. Now let me go along the back and just eyeball it. Oh, looky there, not bad. If I put another block on it, it would be off. Either way. So 5 in the back, 4 in the front. That's the winner. Looky there, you guys seeing? Are you celebrating with me? Yeah, celebrate with me. Go whoop whoop. Whoop whoop. Oh, right on time. Scott rolls in after all the work is done. So what I want to do is just build stairs for this door for now. And I'm glad Scott made it out here because the block started at 40 pounds. I'm not kidding. To me, the gravity went up during the day. They're 100-pound blocks now. Got a stairs, got level. That's it in a nutshell. So if you're off grid, don't have access to a crane, worried about picking one of these up off the ground and leveling it, I just taught you how. All right, like, subscribe, follow me along. Bye.